Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Stock Market Today. You have Alyssa Corum here, and I'm joined by Justin Nielsen on this Wednesday. We're going to talk about the action for the major indexes, a big day of outperformance for small caps. We'll get to that. But first, Justin, give us a preview of the stocks that we're going to be analyzing today.
Well, we're going to be kind of going into some different names, some different, some new. Target, one that has been on our radar for a while. We'll also take a look at Medifast, something that we were talking about a lot on IBD Live today. And who knew? General Motors on our radar.
All right, great. Well, first, let's take a look at the major indexes. Today, we are going to highlight the Russell 2000. As mentioned, small caps had a big day of outperformance, Justin, with the Russell 2000 gaining 3.8% on the day. The S&P 500 up about 0.6%, the Dow up 1.4%, and the NASDAQ closing down 0.6%. Had a weak open, was able to turn positive, and then amid headlines of unrest at the Capitol, dipped lower for the day, while the other major indexes paired a bit of their gains. But there's no doubt here, Justin, this undeniable strength in small caps today.
Yeah, so you always are looking for, signs of rotation, and we've been getting that. But the question was this going to be another one of those, very quick rotations that kind of went right back to tech, or is this something going to be a little bit more prolonged? The strength in the small caps today kind of said, look, hey, this stuff is here to stay. A lot of strength in financials. We had a lot of movement in the bond markets. Yields going up. So there's a lot of issues kind of coming to the forefront, and that rotation was happening. From the get-go today, and it's something that we've been seeing recently. So it's something that you want to keep an eye on. It's probably worth taking a look at the weekly chart of the Russell 2000, because if you look at it, this was kind of basing for quite a while here, wasn't that quick to get back to its former highs, but when it did, November was a really powerful month, and it's been really, really strong since then. And so this is something that is just kind of continuing that strength that we saw starting in November.
That's right. And we played this today, didn't we, Justin? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we put this on Swing Trader. Again, just noting the kind of the pullback. You see the support that we got at the 21-day moving average line. So we kind of going into the Georgia runoff, we were being a little bit light, just out of caution. And the look of IWM, the Russell 2000, the small caps overall, that was a just easy way to get some exposure very quickly. And so that's something that we did right at the open. And so it's a profitable trade right now on Swing Trader.
Well, great job with that. And we'll get more, speaking of Swing Trader, we'll get more into this and the trades over the last month or so, and kind of our outlook as we're kicking off the year. This afternoon, the bottom of the hour, so 4:30 Eastern, 1:30 Pacific, at this month's Swing Trader Scorecard webinar. Justin and I will both see you there. So we're going to get going on this chart analysis here for Target, Medifast, and General Motors. Let's do it. So starting off with the TGT, a great day here for the retail name, up about 4.8%. It's had a nice run over the last couple of months. Some pullbacks, no doubt, but it's been able, in large part, to hold support at those key moving averages.
Yes, exactly. And so there's a number of different ways you could play this one. We've actually put this one on Swing Trader a number of times, but this is also one that is on Leaderboard. Leaderboard is more of a position trading type product, whereas Swing Trader is, kind of faster, smaller hold times. We're not holding things for very long, but this is one that just keeps on going up. There was a lot of strength in retail. Target was not alone. And that's the other thing here too. If you kind of see, that these stocks aren't lone wolves, you had a lot of other action in the retail. I mean, just Bed Bath & Beyond, some names that we haven't looked at in a while. So just kind of look at that overall sense of the movement here, and the strength was just really impressive. Target is not one that typically moves, 5% in a day, where there's really not much in terms of news for the company. This is not an earnings report here. So ever since it had that earnings report, and this has been a very big beneficiary, they really got their digital sales on board. what they're doing with curbside pickup and delivering and everything like that during the coronavirus pandemic has been really spot on, and investors are continuing to reward that, especially today. Now, we put this on Swing Trader earlier, and so we were actually taking profits into this strength, whereas Leaderboard was actually adding to their position. So again, there's different ways to play these, and depending on your style, we've probably got a product for you to take a look at.
Yeah, there you go. And very indicative of some of the rotation that we are seeing out of tech and elsewhere. Let's check in on Medifast, ticker MED, a strong breakout here today for the cosmetics personal care company. And we're seeing a traditional pivot here at 208.67 and a relative strength line at new highs to boot.
Yeah, that relative strength line, whenever you see that blue dot on our MarketSmith product, that is something that should really be getting your attention. When something is able to get that relative strength line to new highs at or before the price gets into new highs, it's telling you that you're dealing with something special. And this is one that you see, I just want to point out, if you go to that bottom area, that this is really ramping up in terms of its earnings growth and sales growth. So you've gone from 14, 12 to 120% in the last quarter that was reported, and sales went 17, 8, 18, and now 43%. So this last quarter was something special. If they can continue that acceleration, and you have to remember that the market is forward looking. So when you start seeing this action, a lot of times the earnings will follow. The price action will happen first, and then you'll kind of see the earnings and sales kind of come on. And so this could be something that is worth keeping an eye on, especially as you see this rotation continuing.
That's right. It has a lot of the elements that we like to see when stocks are breaking out, including that big spike
Oh
in
yeah.
volume. Would you say that this is a bit extended here now? What are your thoughts on that aspect?
It is at the top of that buy range. So again, we were talking about this on IBD Live,
Hmm.
this morning, and that would have been the better entry right there, because again, it just continued going up from there. So you want to have these things on your radar. You want to be, when you do see them, when you do see the strength, you want to act quickly, because again, if it just keeps on going up, then at a certain point you will be extended and more vulnerable to a pullback. So that's what you want to kind of avoid. You want to get
Hmm.
that cushion as quickly as possible, because when you have some cushion on your trade, you can handle it differently. It's easier to hold. It's easier to kind of ride different pullbacks, because again, you're still dealing with profits. It's very different psychologically when you're dealing with the house money.
That's right. And there's a rotation going on when we start talking about GM, General Motors, talk about a turnaround. The fundamentals have not been great, particularly as of late, but it looks like that is starting to turn around. And even you can see that with the forward looking estimates, but it is on the move. Ford's chart also looks very similar here, testing a breakout, but not really providing a clean entry, kind of tricky there as it bottomed out, but had a pretty big move in Q4. And now it looks like it's forming another base, but an earlier entry could be seen here with this rebound off of the 50-day line. What's your take?
Yes, and that's what we did for Swing Trader again today. We're looking at this as that downtrend, crossing that downtrend, and that support at the 10-week moving average line. If we just take a look at the weekly on this one, and here again, you saw a big pickup in volume on the day, and this is one that has been, you know, it had this big long base. It's been basing for well over a year, and it kind of tested the top of that previous area of resistance, and it found support at very logical areas. The top of that previous resistance, it found support at the 10-week moving average line, and it's bouncing from here. Not only that, but as you mentioned, with some of these more cyclical names, when you have this rotation, sometimes what you do see is that the earnings and sales will start following. So we've already got kind of the shot across the bow with some good quarters that we're looking at, recent quarters, and if they can continue, then you will probably expect more money to be pouring into some of these names as those turnaround situations happen. And one of this things that I learned from Bill O'Neill was that, look, for as much as we like to look at the growth, sometimes you have to remember that 1 out of 4 of these very big winners will be your turnaround and cyclical plays. Those definitely deserve a place in our model books.
Very good point there, Justin. All right, everyone, that is it for this show, but the conversation is going to continue over on Swing Trader Scorecard. Make sure you head on over to swingtrader.investors.com and click the banner at the top of the page if you are a Swing Trader member, and we're going to break down a lot more trades, Justin, and you're going to fill us in, you and Chris, always good about breaking down all the action over the last month, and we're going to be answering your questions. So we will see you there, and we'll also see you tomorrow morning on IBD Live. So make sure you check that out, investors.com/IBD Live. Thanks for watching.